Coming up.
Minister Mendocino also falsely claimed, misled Canadians in believing that the Freedom Convoy protesters set fire or attempted to set fire to an Ottawa apartment after locking residents inside, which, according to Ottawa police, was not true. You accept that?
Mr. Brock?
Point of order, Chair. This minister just inferred again that the guns found in Coots were somehow protesters. And that is not true. The RCMP have made it very, very clear that it's not true.
Point of order, Madam Chair. I don't believe there is debate.
I am not done.
This Guy's Garage. Like and subscribe.
At the end, we could go for 5 minutes. If members want to share their time, they can do so with others. Spoke to some, but I'm just making sure everybody would be agreeable to that. Okay.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, I'd prefer to stick to the rules that we've established for this committee, which is the next round should be a 4-minute round.
Okay. Then that is the motion on the floor, so it's my understanding we have to conform to the motion. So we'll go, Mr. Brock, you have 4 minutes.
Good evening, Minister Blair. I want to sincerely thank you for attending today. And as an observation in line with Senator Harder, I really want to sincerely thank you for your candor and your willingness to respond appropriately to every question that has been put to you. You have been non-evasive and you have been giving us substantive answers. The whole process is to get to the truth, to determine whether or not there was a legal justification for the invocation of the Act. Unlike the Deputy Prime Minister, who wasted 90 minutes of precious committee time, I sincerely thank you. I wish to start off, however, describing my bewilderment and astonishment that someone with your experience in government, someone with your experience in policing for several decades, someone who has participated in the invocation of emergency powers that have never been used in the history of this country would not take notes. I find that absolutely incredible. I want to ask you very, very clearly, in any discussion with Cabinet or your officials in your department, are you telling this committee you did not keep any notes, no note-taking by you, regardless of the number of meetings?
And Mr. Brock, that's in fact true.
Thank you.
I do not keep notes.
I'm going to present to you a series of questions that, in my view, has seriously undermined the confidence of Canadians in this government as to the rationale behind the invocation of the Act. I'm going to ask you whether you agree or disagree. Minister Mendocino has been under fire as of late in the House and in the press because he has made it abundantly clear that it was on the advice of nonpartisan law enforcement that the invocation of the Act was established. We now know that neither the RCMP or the Ottawa Police asked the government to invoke the Act, despite those claims. Do you agree or disagree?
And because I do want to be very candid and forthright with this committee. The police did not ask me.
Thank you.
But if I may?
Yep.
But they did.
No, you
they
answered
did
my
answer
question. I have limited time, sir, with all due respect. I have limited time. To be very clear, it's an important question you've asked, sir. They provided me with information that I acted upon and that I believe to be true. Thank
that
you.
Informed my subsequent decision
Thank you,
and
Minister.
Support for the Emergencies Act.
Thank you, Minister. Minister Mendocino also falsely claimed, misled Canadians in believing that the Freedom Convoy protesters set fire or attempted to set fire to an Ottawa apartment after locking residents inside, which, according to Ottawa police, was not true. You accept that?
In part. First
All right.
of all, I'm aware
you.
that was not related to the protest.
Thank you.
I don't ascribe any other motive to anyone else.
Thank you. Despite reports of illegal guns in the cabs of some truckers protesting in Ottawa, no gun charges have been laid to date. Despite claims by Minister Mendocino that women were threatened with sexual assault by protesters, no sexual assault charges have been laid to date. You accept that?
If I may provide a clarification, I was advised by the RCMP that in their investigation of part of the blockades that were taking place in Alberta, that they did have reliable information and intelligence that there were firearms present. They subsequently conducted an investigation and they've laid charges. That matter is now before the court, and I'm not going to comment because it's inappropriate to do so. But in that case, there were firearms present and they represented a significant threat to public safety and to the police
In
conducting the
Alberta,
investigation.
there were no guns found in Ottawa.
Again, that's information better provided to you by the police. I don't have all the particulars of their investigations, and I'm not going to comment. It's not appropriate to.
Thank you, Mr. Brock.
Point of order, Chair. This minister just inferred again that the guns found in Coots were somehow protesters, and that is not true. The RCMP have made it very, very clear that it's
Point
not
of order,
true.
Madam Chair. I don't believe
I'm
there
not
is
done.
debate.
I am not done.
This is not a point of order.
I'm not done. You
Is
can
it-
have your point. when
What
I'm
is the
done.
point of order? Is it relevance? Because otherwise,
Let
I'm
them
not done.
finish before you assess that.
Can I be the chair, please, Mr. Mott?
It's not a debate.
Well, out of
trying to
respect,
correct
allow him
a
to
false
finish the
statement.
point of
Mr.
order.
Brock, we will allow Mr. Motts to speak.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it's important that this committee hear accurate information, that Canadians do want accountability and transparency, but to suggest, even remotely, to infer that the firearms in Coots were somehow related to the protesters, we all
order,
know
Madam
is
Chair.
false. And
the witness's
RCMP
testimony
has made
stands,
it clear,
and this member
the
is not
RCMP has
raising a
made-
point of order, Madam Chair.
The RCMP has made it clear that that is a criminal organization that had no ties to the protesters. So don't suggest anything otherwise.
We leave it at that. Ms. Van Dyne, please go ahead.
I would like a ruling on the point of order, Madam Chair.
It's not a
Madam
point of
Chair, I'd
order.
like to
Go
speak to
ahead.
the same point of order.
I just indicated it's not a point of order and asked Mr. Van Dyne to go ahead.
We'd ask that speech making then be struck from the record because you can't bootstrap your time by raising non-existent points of order to voice your disagreement with the witness's testimony. It's inappropriate, and I think Mr. Motts is beyond that.
When a statement is false, you have to correct it. Or else, what are we doing in this House?
Can we go ahead, Ms. Van Dyne?
I guess we're going to agree to disagree on what's a false statement, Mr. Motts, but thanks for raising a non-point of order.
Madam Chair, if it is open then to question the legitimacy of statements made, then earlier Mr. Motts impugned a statement to Minister Freeland, which was entirely incorrect. He mischaracterized her testimony. So if we are free to make those interventions.
I would ask us to proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Ms. Van Dyne.